Hello friends, welcome to EC Academy.
In this lecture, let us understand K-map for product of some Boolean equation. The product of some Boolean equation will be written for output equation is equal to 0. When the output is 0, we will write the product of some Boolean equations. In the previous lecture, we understood about sum of product. Sum of product is written for output equation is equal to 1. So for output is equal to 1, we will write the sum of product Boolean equation. This you need to remember. And also you need to remember in product of sum, if we are having 0, we will write the variable as it is. And if we are having 1, we will take the complement of the variable. So in sum of product, if we had 0, we will take complement of the variable, and if we had 1, we will take the variable as it is. So these things you need to remember. Now let us take an example of two variable Boolean equation. For this two variable Boolean equation, we need to use K-map and we need to solve the problem. This is the K-map for two variable where we are having 4 cells, and the value of each cell you need to remember. So these values depending upon the value of A and B. This we have understood in our previous lecture. Now in this example, two variables are given. So for these two variables, the output is 0 for 0, 1 and 3. For 0, 1 and 3, we need to write 0. So we'll write 0, 0 and 0. In other cell, you can write 1. So while grouping the zeros or while grouping the 1 in case of sum of product, you need to remember, you need to make less number of groups, and each group must consist of maximum number of variables, maximum number of zeros and ones. In this example, we can group these two ones and we might group this 0. So this is incorrect way of grouping, because this 0 can be grouped with this 0 and we can make this as a single group of two zeros. And also you might tend to group these two zeros and you can group this 0 as single variable. So that is also an incorrect way of grouping. The correct way of grouping is to group these two zeros and to group these two zeros. Let us group these two zeros and let us group these two zeros. For the first group, we can write AB value as, so for this 0, it is 0, 0, and for this 0, it is 0, 1. So we can write 0, 0, 0, 1. So we need to cancel out the variable with different values. So we are having 0 and 1 for B, we can cancel out that. Now we have left out with A with the value 0. So in product of sum, as I told you, if we are having 0, we need to take the variable as it is. So we will take the variable A. Let us take the second group. Here for this 0, we can write the value 0, 1. And for this 0, we can write the value 1, 1. For AB, we can write 0, 1 and 1, 1. So here if we observe, A is having different value. That's why we can cancel out that variable. So we can cancel out A. And we are left out with B with the value 1. So in product of sum, if we are having value as 1, we need to take the complement of that number. So we will take B dash. So to write the simplified Boolean expression, we will take these two variables and we will write the product of these two variables. So we can write A, B dash. Now let us take an example to solve three variable Boolean equation. The Boolean equation is given by three variables A, B, C will be equal to 0 for 0, 3, 6 and 7. Now let us take the K-map for three variables. So this is the K-map for three variables and it is having 8 cells. Here each cell will be having the value and these values will depend upon the value of A, B and C. You need to remember, for A you need to write 0, 1. For BC you need to write 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and then 1, 0. So based on these values, you write the values of the each cell. Now we need to write 0 for 0, 3, 6 and 7. So let us write 0 for 0, 3, 6 and 7. Now we might group like this. We can group these two zeros and we can do individual grouping for these zeros. So this type of grouping is incorrect way of grouping. You should not group like this, because we can group this 0 with this 0 and we can make this as a single group which is covering maximum number of variables. So we can group this 0 as a single variable. So here we can group this 0 with this 0. So the correct way of grouping is to group these two zeros and to group these two 0, and we can group this 0 as a single group. So let us group these two zeros, let us group these two zeros, and let us group this 0 as a single group. For the group represented by red color, we can take the value of A, B and C as 0, 0 and 0. So we can write the value of A, B and C as 0, 0 and 0. Now since we are having the value for A, B and C as 0, 0 and 0, we can take the variables as it is. We can take A, we can take B and we can take C. So for these variables we need to perform OR operation. So we need to put plus sign between each variable. So this is nothing but sum. Let us take the group represented by yellow color. So for this 0 we can write the value as 0, 1, 1, and for this 0 we can write the value as 1, 1 and 1. So for A, B, C we can write 0, 1, 1, and for next value of 0 we can write it as 1, 1 and 1. Now again here we can cancel out the variable with different values and we are left out with B and C with value 1. So we'll write B bar and C bar. So in between B bar and C bar we'll put plus sign that will represent the sum of variables. For the next group represented by green color, for this 0 we can write 1, 1 and 1, and for this 0 we can write 1, 1, 0. So for A, B and C we can write 1, 1 and 1, and we can write for other 0 as 1, 1, 0. So if you can observe here, C is having different values. That's why we can cancel out that variable. So we can cancel out C and we are left out with A and B with the value 1. So we can write A bar and B bar. So in between A bar and B bar, we can put the plus sign that represents sum of variables. So here we got the sum of variables. For this sum of variable, we need to take the product. So if we take the product and if we write, so we can write the simplified expression as A plus B plus C. So for this, we need to multiply, we need to take product of next variable, which is B bar plus C bar. Then we need to take the product and we need to write the next variables, which is A bar plus B bar. So this is the simplified product of some Boolean expression for the given example. Now let us take an example of 4 variable Boolean expression that can be given as 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 and 13. For these values, output will be zeros. This is the K map for 4 variable Boolean expression. So here we are having 16 cells. For AB, we can write 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0. And for CD, we can write 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and then 1, 0. So depending upon these values, you can write the values of each cell. So for the given example, for 3, output will be 0. For 5, it is 0. For 7, it is 0. For 8, it is 0. For 10 it is 0. For 11 it is 0. For 12 it is 0. And for 13 it is 0. Now the correct way of grouping is we can group these two zeros first, then we can group these two zeros, then we can group these two zeros, and then we can group these two zeros. So for the group which is represented by green color, A, B, C and D, we can write 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 0. So here B is having different values, that's why we can cancel out that variable. So we'll write A bar C D. So between these variable we'll write the OR operation. This is the sum of variables. For yellow color grouping, for A, B, C, D, we can write 0 1 0 1. Then we can write 1 1 0 1. So if you can observe here, A is having different values. That's why we can cancel out this variable. So we'll write B dash. So we'll take C and then we'll write D dash. So between these variable, we'll write plus sign. So that represents the sum of the variables. For the next group, for A, B, C and D, we can write 0 0 1 1 and we can write 0 1 1 1. So if you can observe here, B is having different values. So that's why we can cancel out B and we are left out with the variables A with 0, C and D with 1. Since A is having 0, we can write A as it is. C and D is having the value as 1. That's why we can write C dash and D dash. So between these variables, let us put plus sign which represents summation. Let us take the last group which is represented by white color. So for this 0, we can write 1 0 1 1 and for this 0, we can write 1 0 1 0. So we can write for A, B, C and D as 1 0 1 1 and we can write 1 0 1 0. So if you observe here, D is having different values. That's why we can cancel out this D and we are left out with A and C with the values 1 and B with the value 0. So we can write A dash, B and C dash. So in between these variables, let us perform OR operation. So it will be sum of the variables. So we got the sum of the variables. For this sum, we need to take the product so that we can get the simplified Boolean expression. So we can write F is equal to A dash plus C plus D multiplied with B dash plus C plus D dash. Again it is multiplied with A plus C dash plus D dash, which is multiplied with A dash plus B plus C dash. So this is the simplified Boolean expression for 4 variable. This is about K-map for product of sum. Hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.